Here we go. Setting up your webinar for Facebook Live. Okay, hey you guys. So welcome to Ascension Talk with Ariella. So this is a brand new show of mine. We are piloting it with my beautiful, I'm going to introduce you to her in a moment. She's actually my love coach, my relationship coach, Gladys Diaz. So I'll introduce Gladys properly in a moment. But yeah, welcome to my new show, Ascension Talk with Ariella. So this is going to be a weekly show, and it's going to be on every Thursday. We are testing the timings at the moment to see what is working best. So I think it's going to be either at 4 p.m. UK or at 6 p.m. UK. So you guys who are watching this in the group, and it will be streamed into my group, my Ascension community, where we are now. So you guys can let me know what time you prefer us to share insight, information, teachings about Ascension, all aspects relating to the Ascension process with you by actually when you show up live to watch these videos. So yeah, let me know your feedback as well. What times would work for you? I'm definitely open to that. So we are also testing out new technology today. So I think it's all new. I think it's going well so far. So let's just dive into this. And if you have any comments, then we will try and pick them up. Or if you can hear us, then give us a thumbs up or send us some love. We always like receiving love, of course, very appropriate for my love coach by sending some hearts. So we definitely want to interact with you guys. So I want to introduce my amazing, beautiful love coach to you today. So it's Gladys Diaz, and some of you will have seen Gladys when I interviewed her on my last summit. So Gladys and her beautiful twin sister, Michelle, were on my last summit where we were talking about multidimensional love. So we've kind of just like looped back in to give you an update today, an update about love, about how that aligns with the Ascension process. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about where I am in my own love journey as well. And we're also just going to share some insight with you, some guidance and some support around how to really flourish in your love union when you're going through the Ascension process. Because we all know, I believe, that when you are consciously going through the spiritual Ascension process, it has this trick of kind of rearranging things in your life, you know, very quickly, and bringing lots up to the surface, of course, which is really what it's designed to do, so that you can get more conscious of the patterns that are playing out in your life, you know. And what better way, quite frankly, than to see what these patterns are and to get healing and transformation through them than within your relationship. So relationships are a huge piece for us in the Ascension community. So whether you are in a current relationship and maybe through going through the Ascension process, maybe it's dislodged you and your partner a little bit, and you've got questions about whether you're still with the right partner, or whether you are single and you are looking for your soulmate, or you're looking for your twin flame. You know, these are all of the type of stuff that can come up for us in our Ascension journeys. And it comes up for everybody, of course. But because we know that we're consciously going through this Ascension journey, it adds this extra layer to it. And we get to look at it through kind of spiritual eyes, and also, you know, how it can help us to accelerate through our spiritual evolution path. So I want to introduce you to Gladys, because she truly is an incredible soul who has helped me so much in my Ascension, my love journey within my Ascension process. And she has got some, we're going to talk a little bit about, relationships and like try and support you guys. So send us any comments through as well, and I will keep an eye on those. But Gladys, over to you. Please introduce yourself to the Ascension community.
Absolutely. It's an honor to be here. Thank you, Ariella. It's so wonderful. I know how much you love your community, how passionate and about them you are, and how committed you are to really having your community have an extraordinary life. And so, and I apologize, any chimes that might come from my computer. I'm trying to silence everything I can. And we'll just say it's the angel chimes. But yeah, I am a transformational love and relationship coach. We specialize primarily working with strong, powerful, successful women who also want to have and experience extraordinary success in their love life. And I know we're going to talk a little bit about how sometimes we think it's going to, I need to focus on this area of my life, or I need to focus on that area of my life. And, wherever you are, there you are. It's all your life. And so we're going to talk about how, as we're having our spiritual awareness, our spiritual awakening, and are evolving, which is a never-ending process. Mm-hmm. That's why we don't want to keep putting our love life to the side, because if not, then it'll be to the side forever. It's really about how do we really bring our entire life, all of our heart's desires, into alignment. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to answer or respond to any comments that we might get, and really just have the opportunity to have people see that aside from being multidimensional humans, we have multidimensional lives, and that we want to make sure that they're all working together in alignment and in harmony.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're going to talk about that point, and I'm just seeing who we've got. We've got a few people joining us live here. So hello to you all. Lovely Perla, who is one of my clients. She is watching. Hi, Perla, and also Christine Williams. So hi, you guys. Yeah, if you do have any questions for myself or Gladys, please do type them in as you're listening to us. But when we were just having our sort of pre-chat, Gladys and I, we identified like there's a few big areas for us guys in the, in the ascending community, in the spiritual ascension community. One of them that I see quite regularly with clients is, and Gladys was talking about this, sometimes when you're going through your spiritual awakening, it can be like an either or. Okay, so either I need to be like focusing on my spiritual life and my relationships are suffering, or focusing on my relationships and not feeling as if I'm spending enough time, on my spiritual evolution. So that's definitely like one of the main things that I hear from the community. So Gladys, what can you say to the community about this? How can they have both?
A resounding absolutely yes. And here's how I know, and this is why it's so much easier to talk about this kind of thing with the spiritual community. When you have a desire of your heart, my company that I run with my twin sister Michelle is called Heart's Desires. So whenever you're talking about any one of your heart's desires, whether it's your desire to grow spiritually, whether it's your desire to share your life in a partnership with somebody who is that twin flame, that soul mate, whether it's to create abundance in your finances, in your business, whatever those things are, I honestly, I don't just believe it, I know it to be true, that those desires are placed there by, I call him God, people have different names for source, but I really believe that when you feel that calling that's beyond the I want to make money, or beyond I don't want to be alone, that it's truly a vision that you have for your life, I believe that those desires have been placed in our hearts by God. And because I believe that, I also believe that we have then also been equipped with the ability and the opportunities, the people who come into our lives to manifest that. So whenever we're in a conversation about, well, right now I'm going to focus on I need to focus on my spirituality, or right now I need to focus on making money in my business, or right now we don't see it as such, but it is very, very much a scarcity conversation. Mm-hmm. Scarcity comes from lack, and mostly scarcity breeds from the fear that I cannot have this and that. So I need to focus on this or that, or I need to focus on this now so that I can have that later. And while we don't relate to it as a scarcity conversation, it is, because what you're saying is, I don't have enough. I am not enough. I don't know enough to be able to hold all of it, to be able to grow all of it in abundance. So it stems from fears and limiting beliefs, and we call them limiting beliefs because they limit what you believe is possible for you. So you may have really, really great reasons, and I've heard them all. I really have heard, and I've been doing this for 30 years, so I can tell you that I have heard probably, I won't say all of them. I'm sure I'll be surprised. I always stay open to being surprised.
The universe likes to surprise us.
Exactly. It'll be like, oh, you thought you heard it all? Here's this one. But what the more common ones are, I have to really focus on making money. Right now, my priority is my business, or I need to focus on my spirituality. I don't want to get distracted. And so notice how in those conversations, if you can bring awareness to it, you're relating to love as a distraction versus an inherent birthright, versus a desire that's been placed in your heart, or you're thinking of your health. We were talking about that too, as something that I'm not going to focus on this right now, without bringing awareness to the fact that the health is part of what will help you make more money, have an abundance in your finances, have abundance in your spirituality and in your love life. So we compartmentalize our lives, and we don't realize it's also, aside from being scarcity, and I'm going to be bold and I'm going to say it's a lack of faith.
Yeah.
We call ourselves spiritual beings, and we actually believe that there's a limit to what is possible for us.
Yeah, that's so true. And scarcity, lack of faith, and also really not seeing the relationship as the rich spiritual evolutionary path that it is, that can, there is nothing like a relationship to accelerate and catapult you into the next evolutionary steps of your spiritual awakening journey, right? Because it brings so much up to the surface for you. So, you really get that opportunity to, to heal and to go through those inner transformations. And I want to talk a bit about, some of the transformations that I have gone through with you as well, because there are many people in my community who have had similar journeys to me. So, and I was kind of like inwardly chuckling to myself when you were just saying, I've heard it all over the years. And I was like, yeah, she's probably heard, similar stuff to this. So see whether you, the listener, if you identify with this. My personal story was, before I went through like my big sort of multi-dimensional, big spiritual awakening when I was 36, which I'd already been on my awakening path for a while at that point, but this was when my higher calling came in. Yeah, when I was like 36, and it was a very supernatural experience for me. And as many of the people watching this know, I left corporate and I lived in the caravan for 2.5 years, right? But what was happening in terms of my love life was, in the few years, like 2 or 3 years, I would say, before this big event happened, I was absolutely like, I so wanted to find my love. That was my biggest desire. That was my biggest heart's desire. I was taking a lot of action steps to try and, find somebody. And about a year before I went through this supernatural experience, that's when Ethan, my twin flame, and I met. And, we fell in love, and it was this incredible connection. And I was really like, wow, finally, I've got what I've been wanting for so many years, and he's here, and this is it. And, I'm going to pour all of my like love, and I'm really, because I was a businesswoman as well. So it was like, I'm really going to create space for this man and, really prioritize my relationship. And then what happened is my higher calling came online, right? And it was like, whoa, then that took front seat, that took front seat. And it was like, and people watching this, they will understand this, because I had such a goddess calling, you know, it was so like supernatural, and it was such a like, you know, I had these, you know, huge visions, you know, I was given these huge clairvoyant visions, and it was, I received visitations and messages. So I really knew that I was being called up by God, right? That's how I saw it at the time. So it was like, right, okay, you know, well, this has to take front seat. And then what happened over the next sort of, well, I would say 2 or 3 years until I met you, Gladys, is that it was all like my mission. And poor Ethan is very supportive, but you know, he's now in the backseat. This guy that I've wanted to meet for years, right? That I'm like changing my whole life. Suddenly he's in the backseat, and I'm like, you know, I'm majorly focused on my mission. And through the work that we've been doing together, obviously that has transformed massively now. But you know, it might be a different type of story, maybe not quite as supernatural, but is this common, this type of story that I'm sharing, Gladys?
It really is. And anytime that we have a spiritual awakening, a personal awakening, I think it's all divine. It doesn't have to be just in the spiritual realm. You know, anytime we have a breakthrough in our life, some sort of wake-up call, you know, and sometimes it doesn't come in the ways that we want them to. There is that tendency to focus on that one thing. And that's why for with this community in particular, I'll refer to it as one dimension. So that becomes the focus, the single focus. Now, there is nothing wrong with prioritizing. I think prioritizing is important. There's times when, you know, we're both in the same business community. There's times when you're on a project and that becomes the priority. What you were just describing is where it's to the exclusion of even the things that are also priorities to, like your love life. So that it can be really tempting to do that, because we want to succeed, or we want to continue exploring that spiritual, you know, that's our spirituality and that closeness that we start to feel with God. It is like a high, you know, when you're in that communion with God, and you just feel like that oneness. And so I think that's part of our humanity, right? The human side of the divine is that then I'm just going to, you know, I'm going to go where it feels good, right? I'm going to go where I know I can succeed. And one of the things that you said right before you started sharing your story, Ariella, is that many times, I mean, there really is no better place to explore your spirituality and your humanity than inside of a loving relationship, inside of a romantic relationship, because there is so much vulnerability. There is like you're handing your heart over to another person, trusting that they're going to take care of it and honor it and cherish it, and that, you know, and then they're trusting you with their heart. And so there's this high level of trust, high level of vulnerability. There's all this exposure, and a lot of our old wounds. They come back, they surface, and some people will say, well, I don't want to talk about that stuff. I put that in the past. I'm like, I don't want to put it in the universe. That's been the one I've heard like this month more than any. Like, honey, you're not putting it in the universe. It's already in your universe, because it keeps coming up and you keep trying to squash it down.
They're suppressing as opposed to looking at it. Right.
Instead of looking at it, trusting again, because it's anything that, any time that there's fear, aside from us just being human, it means our faith is lacking. Because even if I'm experiencing something, I'm remembering something got triggered in me that was an unhealed wound, whether it's sexual or emotional or physical, and I'm afraid to deal with it, again, there's that piece, and it'll sound familiar to what I was saying before, that I can't handle it, that I'm not equipped, that I won't have what I need. And it doesn't all have to be coming from inside of you, like the people around you, your community, your coaches, your mentors, that I have what I need to really deal with this in a powerful way, so that it does not keep impacting me in the background. Because it's impacting you whether you suppress it or deal with it, it's there. And so that's what happens to us in our relationships. So when you have this huge awakening, when you have any type of transformation in your life, there is going to be a tendency to make that the single focus. And what we just need to remind ourselves is that my entire life, all of it, and for the sake of the example, I'll say different pieces: my health, my finances, my love life, my relationship with myself, my finances, all of it is part of me. It's all part of me. And so it's all important to me. And while at times in my life I might focus on one more than the other, it doesn't mean that I do that to the exclusion or the detriment, which is unfortunately what I see many times as a love coach, to the detriment of the other areas. Because anytime that's happening, it is not in alignment with your divine purpose. Nothing else in your life has to suffer or be sacrificed in order for you to have your heart's desires.
Yeah, for sure. I love that you're sharing that. And I think it's a key piece for us all and for the Ascension community. Integration, which is what you're talking about, integration, and particularly integration and sometimes reintegration with the physical, after so many of us are going through these like incredible, like supernatural experiences, right? Where it's like, whoa, we're like suddenly in another dimension, trying to figure out this new world. We are asked to, and it's with our relationships and it's with our mission, if you want to make a big impact with your mission, which is what many of us have come here to do, and if you want to evolve to the highest heights, then you need to come back down you need to reintegrate with the physical. And that's where the relationships, that relationships are emotional, but they are also very physical, right? It's like we live together. I mean, apart from sex and all of that stuff, it happens on that physical plane. And a lot of people in the spiritual community, myself included in the past, there can be this, and it's because of our energy signatures, and because many of us are like, are literally made up, differently energetically, but many of us can look to avoid the physical realm. We can look to avoid the emotional realm. We can be very sensitive to these things. It can feel very dense to us. So I love what you're talking about regarding integration. And my personal experience has been, and it's been through working with you, as I've been going through my ascension journey and going through this transition of reintegrating again with the physical, is that as I've opened up to do that, and as the divine has sent me these beautiful divine guides and supports to support me lovingly to come back into the physical, like you say, everything in my life has started improving. My health is improving. My love relationship with Ethan, we'll talk more about this, but it's really, thanks to your help, it's done like a complete 180. We're in a completely different space. We have had a new beginning. My mission is still, it's taken off even more, right? Because, your service work gets done in the physical realm. So when you're avoiding that, you're not much service and you don't attract the clients and all the rest of it. So, my abundance, my quality of life, everything has just increased. So I can only echo what you just said about relationships being a key piece in this. I'm just so grateful. I mean, words don't, so grateful as I'm saying it, it's like it's nowhere near enough, because this has always been my dream, to have a life which, a career which I feel passionate about. I'm in service, to have and to have an incredible relationship. And I've never in the past, I've always struggled to have those two, and I've got that today. I've got an incredible man, an incredible new chapter has opened up in my relationship. And that's, it's because I've been willing and open to going to reintegrate into the physical. And then God, Goddess, my soul, source has sent me incredible people, and Gladys is one of them. Gladys is like really in my inner circle, you know, the people that I really trust to help support my physical reintegration, you know. So I can, you know, words don't say it loudly enough, but I feel beyond blessed to have been on this journey and to have you in my life.
Oh, honey, thank you so much. And I appreciate the trust so much, because, you know, you've been so authentic and vulnerable, and, you know, Ethan as well, like opening up, you know, himself to us working and talking. And it's just really been beautiful to see the commitment of on both sides, even though I know I work with you, just to see how he's responded to your changes, to the changes that you're making, to the transformation that's happening. It is a spiritual transformation. The things that we go into and we dive into, we go really, really deeply into some of the things that have caused the wounds in the past and the fears, and to see how by you, one of the things that you really wanted was, you know, to really step back and surrender and allow to not have to be the leader also in your relationship, to be partners, to have a true partnership, and to just see what is being created, the communication, the support, working together, you know, living together, loving together. It's all, oh my God, it's driving me crazy with these chimes. But it's like every time I say something brilliant. But yeah, you know, it's really been your commitment, because I get that question a lot, Ariella, is like, well, if I'm the only one working with you, like, shouldn't it be both of us? And it can always be both. But I always, and this is for nothing to diminish the men, but I work mostly with women, and what I've seen is when a powerful woman takes on, I'm going to have the life I want, I'm going to have the love I want, I'm going to, you know, work on this side of my transformation, the man is so responsive. Like, he's just responding to your growth, to your change. It opens up space for the transformation to happen for both of you. And I mean, that was my personal experience, because for years I tried nagging, complaining, you know, telling my husband what he should be doing differently, and if he would only do that, then we could be happy. I mean, that was really my context in life, was if he changed, then we would have this beautiful relationship. And, you know, now when my husband comes and he speaks at our events, I mean, just sharing about one of them in just a little bit, when he says, it was seeing how committed she was to her own personal transformation that inspired me to want to become a better man. And I always say, you know, I'm sitting in my office now, I have a lot of awards, I have a lot of plaques and accolades, and nothing holds a candle to my husband looking at me, I'm going to get emotional, looking at me and saying that I inspired him to become a better man. He was already an amazing man. That's why I chose him. I mean, you don't have to trust my choices, but just seeing the transformation of our own relationship, you know, over the past, it's going to be now 13 years, because we're going on 20 years together, actually. And just seeing that, what our relationship has become, and knowing where we came from, you know, because you and I were talking about when you feel like that hopelessness, like, can this even be salvaged? Do I even have the energy to, you know, to do the work? And it's not hard work. What's hard is trying to force something to happen that's not happening naturally. That's what makes love hard. Forcing somebody to think, want, feel, say something they don't want to think, want, feel, or say. Right. And so when we take the focus off the other person and we truly make it about our own spiritual, emotional, personal transformation, it really does open up the space for the transformation of your relationship and of your life, like you were sharing.
I love that. And I think, you know, there's many people in this community as well, just like me, who, you know, are very driven. They, you know, they know that they're here on big missions. You know, they've really got a heart to serve. And, you know, they can sometimes, it can become unbalanced, like we've spoken about. But I think it's just so beautiful hearing your story, and also thinking about, you know, my own journey that we've been on, and just to have this new beginning. And I kind of knew that, I mean, even though this is my spiritually based business now, I'd already proven that I could be a success in business before. And okay, it was a big transition living in the caravan, and there was a lot of faith involved in that as well, and a lot of hard work and all the rest of it. But the thing that, and you got emotional a few minutes ago, and I can get emotional when I think about it, because there's nothing more that touches my heart than the success that I'm now creating in my relationship. That is like, that's the big stuff. It's
like you just lit up like the whole screen. I have chills everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's love, isn't it? It's even when that you're here on a service mission, and that you want to create a positive impact in the world, if it's all about that, and it's not, you don't have the same target, if you like, in your mind, the same goal to have an incredible love life, then you're going to end up like, you're going to end up unfulfilled, is the bottom line. And you're going to end up probably feeling even a bit, what's the word? Not frustrated, but resentful, right?
Making money in my business.
Are we back?
Yeah, I just had to mute the Facebook. I don't know what happened over there.
Okay, yeah, it's so there we go. We've got some strange energy going around. Like I say, we are practicing this technology, but is it good?
I think so. I don't want to touch anything else. I was actually trying to reply to Isa, but I will do that here verbally.
Let's do it here, because Isa, I saw that as well. Isa is she's a dear friend of mine. She started off as a client, and then she was doing, she's been supporting my movement. So she's saying that her man isn't spiritual, but he's respectful of her spirituality, which is beautiful, right?
That's me. When I had my first spiritual awakening was when I was 17, and it really truly, I mean, talk about a transformation. I went into a retreat that's why Ariella and I believe so highly in strongly in experiential and immersive experiences, because I went in on a Friday and I came out a completely different human being. Like, all the anger, fear, resentment was just gone. And I was a very angry, very dark person,
Wow.
Even at a young age.
My God, that's amazing. Wow.
And I was dressed all in black, and just like and it was reflective of the pain that was inside me, the anger, the resentment, years of abuse and abandonment, and addiction in my family. And I let it all go. Like, I remember the moment where I let it all go, and I literally felt like chains falling off of me, like links of chains falling off of me. And so I emerged on that Sunday, and I was in a relationship at that time, even though it's a teenage relationship, but it was important to me. I really cared about him, and he ended up breaking up with me because he couldn't believe like the change that had happened in 3 days. My family thought I'd been brainwashed. I'm like, I needed to be brain bleached. It was a good thing. And, and that was my life. For 13 years of my life, I was in youth ministry, in service. Almost every weekend of my life was singing at retreats, preaching at retreats, just talking to thousands of teenagers for years.
Wow.
And then
I didn't know this about you. This is so cool.
And it was mostly like 10 of those years was with my first husband, my late husband. After he passed away, I continued, because that's how I started actually in relationship coaching and ministry. Was we would help teenage couples who were starting out as boyfriend, girlfriend, move into commitment and engagement and then marriage. And then when he passed away, I kind of found myself very lost. I mean, all of my hopes, plans, dreams, everything died right along with him. I was only 27 years old
So
when he
yeah,
passed away. Yeah, I mean, I was like, how did this happen? You know, and of course, the shaking of your faith here. I've dedicated my whole life to service, my whole life to serving God, bringing people to God, and having this life shock. And but my faith was what got me through that. Like, what my faith was what got me through his cancer. My faith was what got me through his death, and rediscovering myself, falling in love with myself and my being, really looking at what were the fears and doubts and limiting beliefs that had me thinking, well, this love story ended. That means I'm never going to be in love again. I really believed that. When I say it now, it sounds crazy, but it was the absolute truth. And I would tell anybody who could hear me, until one day I heard me. And I was like, what is that about? I'd done enough work to say that is reflective of a fear. Because what you're saying, I mean, I had to do a lot of inner work, but what I discovered was, because he loved me and he had died, I made up that nobody else could love me that way, that I could never experience that again. So talk about a limiting belief, a scarcity mindset. I did lots and lots of work on really uncovering that, healing it, transforming it, and then 4 months later, meet my amazing husband.
Wow.
And not planning. I'd been stood up by somebody else that same day. That's why I was out dancing. I'd never been to a club in my whole life. I'm 28 years old, first time in a club. I'm feeling like a fish out of water. I'm like, I gotta go sing on stage tomorrow at a Christian event. And here I am.
Oh, okay, because it was all church stuff. That's
yes,
what
that was my life. I was a lead singer. I was, constantly like speaking and teaching and really bringing people to have their own spiritual transformation. And then I meet my husband, and he's like, barely believes there's a God, like just about believes there's a God. And here I am, like this person who, like, my faith
total evangelist almost.
Exactly. And I said to him, this is who because he asked me, how did you get through that? As we were talking our first couple nights, getting to know each other. And I said, it's my faith. And I said, here's something you want to know about me. Like, God is the center of my life. I live my life for him. And and he goes, well, I'm not really into church. And I said, I understand that we're just getting to know each other. Like, I wasn't, planning anything. I said, but as long as we understand, I will never Bible bash you. And I just ask for respect.
Yeah.
And that was 20 years ago. That was 20 years ago. So for those of you who are in a relationship that you feel like, can it work with a person who's not? Obviously, when you're both on the same spiritual path, it makes it easier. But in 20 years, he's very supportive. We still have conversations. We still have discussions. We still don't see eye to eye. And 20 years later, I can tell you that I'm so in love with this man. And, and I admire him. I respect him. And I love the way he respects me and my beliefs and my faith. So I know it can be difficult, particularly when you're starting your journey and your partner's not on board. If you create an agreement of love and respect, because that is the bottom line of any relationship. If you come from a space of love, everything that you say, think, do comes from the intention of bringing more love, and you come from a space of respect, this is just, again, my personal conviction is that any relationship can work. It really can. We make up that it can't, and we make it hard, and we try to force the other person and all that. And that's a sign of disrespect. When you don't respect what the other person believes, you can stand for someone and still disagree with them. You can stand for their transformation and not be a bully about it, because that just turns people off. And then they've got a deeper stick in the stand, like, now I'm really not gonna not believe, So you've got to be the love you want to see. You really need to be everything. If you want a relationship that's loving and forgiving and compassionate and accepting, then you must be loving and giving, compassionate, forgiving, and accepting. It's just the way it works. It's just, a law of the universe. And so I hear you, Isa, and I'm totally destroying your name because I have my Spanish accent, but it's Isa.
No, she's from Portugal.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
So maybe I'm saying
it's probably me that pronounces it wrong.
And so, yeah, I just wanted to say that. And I also wanted to respond to Lorraine, who was just really resonating with what we were talking about. So I thank you for that acknowledgement, and so glad. It sounds like she's really, something that we said really really
She's
resonated.
amazing, Lorraine.
And I hope she'll come back. She said she had to go, but she'll be back for the replay. That's what's so beautiful about Facebook Live. You can always come back.
It's so beautiful. Hello to Lorraine. So again, Lorraine is a current client of mine. She was out in Sedona at the recent retreat. She's incredible. She's very angelic, and she's a channel for the angels. So she's super, super beautiful. But I just want to say how amazing, like how much I loved hearing what you just shared there. And thank you for sharing about like being vulnerable and opening up about your journey and your story as well, and how inspired I was listening to you, and how much it has grounded in even further, like how I see you and what you are is a master teacher. You know, we call you a love coach, but actually you are absolutely a master teacher, and certainly you are a channel for the divine. You know, and this is what I know, and not everybody is always in alignment necessarily with their mission, and they're still figuring things out, but you are just so perfect for what your service mission is here on the planet. And you're an incredible communicator as well, and you've just taught me so much, you know, everything that you shared there, you know, about stepping back and, you know, communication and, you know, all of this within your relationship. You've just really opened up new doorways and new possibilities for me to have a truly embodied and abundant and beautiful like earth existence while I'm here. And I know that's what so many people in this community are wanting. So I also want to talk a little bit about how people can, because you've got an incredible event coming up, and I want you to share a bit about this, because it's a real opportunity for people to work with you, to experience you, to understand your teachings, and to benefit. And it's coming up soon. So can you just share a little bit about, and I know you've got a very, very generous offer for this community as well.
Absolutely. So we are, you know, as I said at the very beginning, our primary audience is that really strong, spiritual, powerful woman. And I think a lot of times we either feel like we have to dim our power, or we overexert our power in trying to find our place, particularly in this realm of love and relationships. So we have an event that we've put on every year, and it's called the Irresistible Woman Live. And the link is up at the top. Ariella put it up in the description. And really the whole reason this event was even conceived was because we kept attracting these women who were so strong and so powerful and so creating like success in every area of their lives, and really struggling with the fact that they could not create that kind of success when it came to their love life. You used the word before, frustration. There was a real frustration about not being able to experience that level of fulfillment and joy and ease in their love life that they were experiencing in their professional and personal careers. So the more we heard about that, the more curious we got, and we started seeing signs of that in our own lives. So while Michelle was single and she was going through like a 5-year desert of the soul.
Michelle is your twin sister.
Yeah, she's my twin sister, my business partner. And, you know, she was having all of these difficult experiences in her single life. I was going through very similar things in my marriage with Rick. I was at the 6-year point in our relationship, 5 years into our marriage, and just the disconnect, the discord, lack of communication, lack of intimacy. And Michelle kept attracting like these unavailable men, you know, who were just not treating her as the goddess that she was. And we started asking, what is it? Because we're attracting these women into our lives. We're experiencing the same thing. Our careers were off the charts. but here things weren't working. So that's really what got us started in our work. And we created this event about 4 years ago called the Irresistible Woman Live. And it is specifically for the strong, powerful woman who also wants to have success in love, who doesn't want to choose between this or that, and who wants to really create a transformation from the inside out of herself, of her life, that then explodes into her love life. And we've just seen the ripple effect. You shared about it, how then everything else in their life starts to transform, because now you are in alignment. You're not thinking, you're not thinking, I'm not going to focus on this now out of fear. You may not call it fear. I know it's fear because I'm a coach. You may call it all the other 20,000 excuses. So it's 3 days of, and I always say this, not to badmouth other events, but this isn't the kind of event, because I know a lot of the women or people go to conferences where it's one speaker after the other giving an offer, trying to sell something. This is 3 days of pure content. We've really taken from our programs, what our clients pay us, thousands of dollars for, and we pour it into these 3 days. And women are left, marriages have been healed, marriages and relationships have been healed, lives have been healed. Wounds, families have been restored. People who weren't talking to their parents, who had completely, disconnected from their families. And then, of course, new relationships, romances, and all of that comes out of it. So we wanted to just make a special invitation to this community in particular, because I love you so much, Ariella. Working with you is honestly, it's not even work. I just love being your coach. I love connecting with you. I love our friendship aside from our, business mastermind and our coaching relationship. And I wanted to do something really special for your community. So the link that you see up above, and we'll go ahead and we'll pop it into the comments as well, that is for a refundable ticket. So let me just quickly say what that is. This ticket is normally $497, so it's not a $97 workshop. And I want to be really clear, there's no 3-day event that's $97. So just put that out there. But what we're asking is that you just put down a $97 deposit to hold your seat, and so that we can go ahead and order your training materials. And when you come to the event, you get that $97 back. So it's a fully 100% refundable ticket, which means you get to come to this amazing 3-day event for free, to have a transformation in your love life, in your personal life, and in every other area of your life, because we truly want you to have every single thing that your heart desires.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And so just talk a little bit, so dates and location.
Sure. So it's May 17th, 18th, and 19th. That's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So those of you who are still experiencing cold, wherever you are in the world, I'll tell you, it is anything but cold here in Florida. It's beautiful. Even today was raining, and right now it's absolutely gorgeous. It's in Fort Lauderdale. We secured a really great rate with the hotel. It's an opportunity to be in the room with over 100 women who are just as committed. So I want you to just envision that, a room of 100 or more women, where every single heart in that place is fully committed to having an extraordinary life. Just think of I just got chills everywhere. Just think of the energy. It's impossible for you not to be transformed inside of that container. And so that's what we offer. It's 3 full days. So we tell people, if you're traveling, you do want to come in on Thursday, because we start early Friday, and then we end at about 4:00 p.m. Sunday, so people can still have time to fly home. Some people make it a little vacation, so they just come a day early, stay a day late, and we do have people who are looking for roommates and things like that. So we're happy to help you make it easy, but we can't make it any easier than free. So if there's any
that's true,
any excuse or reason or hesitation, I'm gonna give you another link that you can use so that you can reach out to me. Let me be your coach. Let me help you through whatever resistance, fear you have about not just being at this event. I know it's the fastest way. We do this every year because we know everybody doesn't want to necessarily commit to a year of coaching. Okay, so come for 3 days, commit to yourself, give yourself those 3 days, and then take what you learn and really put it into your life. And of course, some of you will want to keep working with us, but if you don't, the starting points. So I'm going to go ahead and pop in, or if I can get back to the screen, every time I touch my screen, I mess something up. So
that's okay. We can do that afterwards. So you
okay. Yeah,
I've already put the link.
I'll put a link so that you can also get a free gift from us. It's our Irresistible a Woman system. It includes a ebook that is the 7 secrets to actually, I'm sorry, it's the secrets to being simply successful and irresistible woman, so that you can have both of the things in your life. And it has the masterclass recording and also an opportunity to have a one-on-one love breakthrough call with my sister and myself. So that's usually I think it's like a $600 or $700 package, and we're just going to gift that to you.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much. And yeah, I mean, I really encourage and I am seeing, because there's some comments coming through, that people are resonating with this. Christine Williams, thank you for reminding me that I've been making all the excuses in the world why I should not be open to a new relationship. The main one being because of my spiritual work. You did make me smile as you pressed so many buttons. Great, you know, like I'm glad in a good way, you know, because yeah, we can, myself included, you know, I've been in such denial about this stuff. So I really encourage you, if you are resonating to this, to click on the link that I've put there in the comments for you. It is a fully refundable ticket to attend Gladys's event. There is a coupon code which you need to put in, which is love. Of course, it's love.
Absolutely. Put that in, because that lets us know 2 things. First of all, it takes your ticket price down from $500 to $97. That's very important.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then it also lets us know that you're from Ariella's community, so you will get your refund. So the code is really important. If anything technical happens, you can always reach out to us. But that code lets us know, okay, this person, not only are they from Ariella's group, but they're gonna go into the refundable ticket list, so that we can make sure to give that back to you, to gift that back to you when you come to the event.
And I think also, you know, to ask people to share this, you know, everybody, I'm sure that everybody watching this knows of somebody. If it's, you know, if it's not for you, perhaps, you know, I'm sure that everybody knows of somebody that this event can benefit.
Yes, and it goes back to being the love you want to see. Like, be generous, be loving, be giving. Don't keep something that, you know, it could be the difference. I mean, the miracles that get created in that space every year. It never ceases to amaze me. There's physical healings, there's spiritual healings, there are relationship healings. And to withhold that from somebody when you have probably the answer that they've been searching for and praying for, it's the biggest gift. Like, you get to be the one for them. And so absolutely, you know, share with the people. I don't care if everybody gets a refundable ticket. That's, for us, it's the more women in there, the better, because the energy, the transformation just gets multiplied. So feel free to share even with somebody outside of Ariella's community. Just have them use the link so that we know, the code, so that we know to give them that.
So Perla's asking, is the event online? It's not, Perla, it's in the physical, because we are talking about reintegrating into the physical. So it's in Fort Lauderdale, 17th, 18th, 19th of May. It's this month.
Yes,
right?
so it's in a few weeks. And I know for some of you it's gonna mean being unreasonable. And I always make the uncapital. So being unreasonable means there's a whole bunch of reasons. Maybe you have to travel, maybe you have to work out your schedule at work. You know, we have women coming from all over the United States, but also the UK, Israel, Ireland. I mean, women are being unreasonable. And the reason people make those kinds of decisions is because of what they know is going to happen in that space. They know what's going to happen in those 3 days, and it becomes worth it. So that's why I said, if you have any questions, any, you know, is this right for me? Do you feel, you know, or you feel any fear around making that choice? Allow me to be your coach. Allow me to show you what it means to have somebody stand for you, to hear all of those things. I never diminish or disregard your fears. I just don't get enrolled in them. I just stand for you. I see you bigger than your limitations. I see you bigger than the reasons, and we will work something out. For me, anything is possible inside of a conversation. Anything can become possible inside of a conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, yeah, thank you so much, Gladys, for everything, you know, for everything, and for being an angel within my community as well. And we're already having conversations, right, about how to like share more of your essence and more of your service mission and more of your teachings with this community, because this is a key piece for us. You know, it's a really, really key piece for us to reintegrate into the physical, to balance our relationships with the other areas of our lives. And I don't know anybody better to introduce you to than my coach, Gladys. So I really hope that that you will you know, click on the link and take advantage of this incredible offer and get a breakthrough in your relationship this year, because that is possible, and I am I am testimony to that. And we've only been working together for a short time, really. Yeah, so it's been, thank you to everybody who has been watching. I can see some more comments have come in, so we're going to go and have a look at those. And if you have any more comments or questions, please put them also in the Facebook community. If you're watching this on the replay, then please do join my Ascension community. At the moment, I think it's going to change, but at the moment it's called the Multidimensional Human Community. But I am starting, this is the first show of many called Ascension Talk with Ariella. And it will be live streamed every Thursday at either, I think, 4 p.m. or 6 p.m. UK time, into this Ascension community, into the Facebook community like we're doing now. So please do keep on checking back in here for those live streams. I will also share them with my email list as well. So you need to be on my email list to receive these. And these are just like free teachings, free coachings, you know, all around the topic of ascension and how to support you guys having the most abundant, most embodied, most incredible and supernatural ascension process that you could ever want for yourself. So, you know, let us know how we can continue to support you. We love serving you. And thank you for watching this live today and for staying with us as well through the technical issues. We appreciate you.
Yes, we do. Thank you so much for the invitation, for the conversation, and for the transformation. I know that has taken place during this short time, and I really do look forward to continuing to connect with you and your community.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, we need to have more of your light in the world. For sure. All right, honey, thank you so much. And thank you to everybody watching. We love you all, and we will connect in with you again soon. Bye for now.
Bye.